Okay, good morning. This week we are in a little bit of no man's land because the 50% of our media crew decided to take an entire month off and go and sun himself abroad. So, like I say, a bit of no man's land. We've not got a great deal of content this week. I've literally had to do everything myself, including making my own brew. But what we have done is, it is now 2 o'clock on Saturday, and tomorrow morning obviously is the video release, so we've not got a great deal of time, but we'll just give you a quick recap at some of the bits that have been going on this week, because we have been PD testing. Obviously I haven't got any content of that because I was heavily involved in handling the cattle. At the same time, some bits that we've had going on at the farm though, Philip has been and finished off the last bits of the fencing now, so we've done round the bio unit, both sides. We've got the little gates put in, we've got a little bit of wire to put on, and all the field fencing is done. Again, we'll bring you the bulk of that really in next week's vid. We've also had a chap in that's helped us out to come and do the stone burying and the seeding of the little bits of landscaping that we've got left to do. So we've got both sides of this car park down here on the bio unit, and at the same time we've got the sections outside the front and round the side of the house. Luckily we've had some rain this week as well, so he's seeded, it's rained, it should be perfect to get the grass growing and start to come through now, because obviously I'm desperate to get a lawn around the house, especially for this, what's left of this summer. But we don't have a great deal of footage of that because Clayton took 6 weeks off.
It was 1 week.
So unfortunately he's missed all of that, and he's missed most of what Phillip Walton was doing with the fencing. And then after that we have been across to Serial Show. So again, with Clayton missing because he'd gone off for 6 or 8 weeks, I've had to do all the Serial Show recording on my own as well. I've also going to put all the editing of the montage, so I'll take credit for the montage, and Clayton's just literally recording this little bit today and putting the video together. We'll go quickly to the house, have a quick look at the stone burying, and I'll explain how that works. So this is what we've had tidied up by the house. If you remember, out the front of the house here is where we put all them underground pipes and everything for the underfloor heating and the ground source. And then obviously we'd levelled all that back over, but at the same time there was an element, there wasn't enough topsoil on there. Everything had sort of settled in the trenches that we'd done. So we pulled it all back through, we did the digger driver, and then after we'd done that, we had to leave it until such a time it was dry enough that we could get on with the stone barrier. Now, a stone barrier is a kind of like, it's on the back of a mini tractor, and I don't really know whether you'd class it as almost like a power arrow or whether it's more like a rotavator. Power arrow obviously turns like that when it goes through the ground, sort of working the ground, and this I think is more like a rotavator, but it works the other way around, so it's burying the stone. So as it's going along, it's obviously pulling the level through, and at the same time them stones is knocking them down into the ground and leaving a nice fluffy surface. So the plan was, obviously that was to be done as soon as we could. The weather's been with us, so we've got on it now, we've had that done. Once that's been pulled through, effectively at the end of each row, and there are parts where the stones will raise. So at that point we have to do the back-breaking job of going over it all by hand and stone picking it. And once we've got all the big stones out, then he goes over it again, and then the third time is effectively to seed and roll it. A little bit different than how we did the field over there, because when we did the field over there we power arrowed it and seeded it all in one go, but obviously that is a field, this is supposedly going to be a lawn at some point. So the idea now is we let the grass grow through this, and his advice to us is basically let the grass grow through until we do first cut, and when we do first cut of the grass we then roll it, which will firm it all up and take some of these undulations out. But after speaking to a few people I have noticed there is a little bit of a difference in opinion of at what point you roll it. I'm going to give this one a whirl and take his advice and roll it after we've done its first cut, but ordinarily, with the weather being dry and everything, we would have probably seeded this normally and then give it a light roll in straight away. But I do see his point that you don't really want to crush, make the ground hard and make it harder for the grass to root. But then I do worry, if the grass does root and then you roll it, do you then break and crack and smash all the roots up and stunt its growth? Not sure. So any advice on that, please drop us a comment at the end of the video. Aside from that, we've had loads going on this week because, like I say, I've had to do everything with Clayton being off for 3 months.
Can you tell you miss me?
But next week's vid will all be on the farm, and we've got bales coming in, we've got cattle numbers. The fuck was that? Wasp. Most people would have died. Aside from that, we've got loads going on this week, and next week's vid, like I say, will be heavily based around the farm. We're going to talk cattle numbers, we're going to talk what we PD'd, we're going to talk fantastic news about one of our bulls, and now the other 3 that we have on the bank and the problems that we've had with them. So if you like what you've seen, hit subscribe, ring the bell, and we will leave you with a fairly good montage that I've done all on my own without Clayton's help.